Yeah, so let's run with this. The idea that the human organism absorbed energy inputs only in certain kinds of way, corresponding to equilibria within the tensegrity structure, as a whole living organism, so that there's only specific types of energy input that can be absorbed that sustain life. That the physical tensegrity structure only exists in certain ways, and if the structure had stored up energy, which we might think of in a way as information, but certain energy states and consciousness itself was the changing state of this structure, complex changing state, allowing a lower energy equilibrium structure. It might be that to devolve or to lower the internal energy state of the human being, if you like, it would have to adjust itself in certain particular ways. It would have to unwind, in effect, from its higher energy state, and perhaps there's not only a key to undoing this higher energy state, but also only certain ways that once the key had been turned, that the structure could unwind. In other words, there were only certain meshes of cogs that had to be engaged. Perhaps there were only certain ways which a structure could unwind. To some extent, it might have to retrace its roots, if you like, follow back or backtrack to the point at which stress was imposed, so to unlock that stress. That is a literal physical mechanism of the structure, and in doing that, perhaps electrical and chemical and mechanical energy would be released, so driving the physical processes that cause the manifestation of cave art. So perhaps we're going back to key points in our evolution by expressing ourselves, and from that point, in effect, reliving the point where stress was inbuilt. Unlocking the structure was built, the physical structure that was built from that point of view, opening it so as to reform that structure. Now perhaps it's like following the branches of a tree back to a branch point, and once that branch point is reached, perhaps there are alternative branch points that result in a lower energy state of the total organism. So what happens at that point? I don't know. Is it necessary to go back to that point and unlock inbuilt stress? Is it enough to have expressed the history of the organism up until that point? Is that enough to actually relieve and lower the energy state of the organism? Is that lower state one of becoming more conscious, of allowing each individual its own existence as distinct from the troop?